Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm doing a video review for my Core 360 belt. I've had this a little over 6 months. I've been using it a lot with clients, and I really love this thing. So I learned about the Core 360 belt about 2.5, 3 years ago. I took the DNS, which stands for Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization Sports Certification, about 2.5, 3 years ago. And their system has a ton of different certifications and levels to it. And they use this belt a lot. It was one of the things that we actually used with the certification. And the main kind of basis of that modality is what's called intra-abdominal pressure. So for those that don't know, when we're looking at intra-abdominal pressure, what we're looking at is, can I generate internal pressure to match kind of like external load? For a lot of people, they're not doing that. They have little control over this midsection. And we talk a lot about the diaphragm, and I don't like the cue of like, you need to breathe diaphragmatically. You're always breathing diaphragmatically. It's just we breathe more so with the chest and less with the diaphragm. And we're trying to switch those things back to where we're breathing into the belly, we're utilizing our diaphragm more, and then we're creating good quality intra-abdominal pressure. This is one of the things that helps because it's providing neurological feedback as to whether or not you're actually creating that, not just in the front here, but all the way around. So we talk about the midsection as a cylinder. So with this cylinder, can I create good, even internal pressure just with my breath, with air, to match whatever external load I'm creating on the body, right? Now there's a spectrum with this. I don't need as much intra-abdominal pressure when I'm walking, say, versus when I'm deadlifting a lot of different weight, right? But with this provides the feedback to the areas that we may be struggling with. So we'll use a lot of different tactile cueing with this. I'll push on a certain area to help a client. We maybe do in grip approach, which is kind of built off of DNS, which is Global Rehabilitation Injury Prevention. We talk about push-pull vibration, right? I can do push, I can put pressure, I can pull the skin, or I can vibrate in that area. This is the pressure part of it, because that's not something I may be able to do as I'm lifting something, right? It's really hard to vibrate on a certain area while I'm trying to do a goblet squat or a deadlift or something like that, right? So this provides the feedback. And the way it does that is with these little half dome pods in here. You can actually slide these off, which is nice. And you can add more, by the way, if you wanted more. It comes with 4 of these, but inside this, literally just a foam pod. That's it, right? Goes back inside here, and that's what's creating that pressure. You're gonna tighten the belt around, ideally, the midsection here, and I can go higher or lower on the midsection, but the midsection, I'm not going way up here, right? But you're putting it on the midsection to provide that neurological feedback. Am I creating intra-abdominal pressure, right, in the area that I need it? A lot of people struggle with this initially, and this is one of the tools that we can use to provide feedback, especially as we're lifting, right? So it's really hard for me to check as you're lifting, are you creating it in these very specific pockets? Now I may cue you up with that. We may get set up and I'll come over and I'll do a little bit of feedback. I'll give you all these different cues, but this can help you through the lift. This can help you while you're hiking. This can help you while you're just walking around the neighborhood to think about, am I breathing into the belly or am I all up in my chest, which I don't want to do, right? That's that stress response breathing that I don't want. So it comes with the 4 pods. We have multiple sizes with this, okay? So small is, I think, 29 inches, and then medium 32, large 35, XL is 40. So I have the medium, that's the 32 here, but this stretches. So that's one of the things, they do have a sizing chart on that, but I stretch, and then I can place this, and then I get to maneuver these wherever I need them to go. My big ones are the 2 lower pockets here, and then in the back. So for a lot of people, they can actually create the intra-abdominal pressure, right? But they're struggling in certain pockets. And because of this, as we're trying to do whatever movement we're trying to do under load, if we have a pocket that what I call is leaking, right? It's not uniform. The pressure isn't uniform in the canister here. we're more likely to have a problem or an injury in that area, right? So this can provide that feedback, and you feel the pressure, right? This is tight across my waist. I don't want to get a size that's too big. I'm not going to feel that, right? Now I can just sit here and breathe. So we utilize this in a lot of different movements in here with my clients. So we deadlift, goblet squats, just freestanding squats, pushing the sled, doing farmer's carries, suitcase carries. And I can rearrange these. So maybe we're doing, even with dead bugs, this is flat on the ground, and so it's just pushing into the body a little bit more. But for some people, maybe that's too much, and I can maneuver them to the side more. So this is very, very versatile in that sense. So I really, really enjoy this. I use it a lot myself, especially with certain movements where I'm struggling, right? Where it feels like I'm not creating the best intra-abdominal pressure that I can. I can provide myself with feedback. And that's the huge upside with getting something like this, is just that feedback that you're providing to the body so that you can improve, right? We only improve the things that we're aware of, right? So I always talk about just kind of like the learning wheel, if you want to call it that. I always forget the official name of it. But we take a lot of people and they have this unconscious incompetence. They don't know that they can't generate intra-abdominal pressure. We show them what it is, we show them that they're struggling, and then now they have conscious incompetence. They know that they don't have the ability to generate intra-abdominal pressure the way that they should. Then we make them competent. They can do those things, right? And we use tools like this so that slowly we can teach them unconscious competence. So eventually you may not need this as much, right? Or at all necessarily, right? It's a good tool and feedback. I don't want to rely 100% on it. Initially, it may have to provide that feedback, but eventually you have enough internal awareness, you don't need this as much because you've now moved into this conscious or unconscious competence. I don't have to monitor that as much, which is really, really nice. This is $54.95. Shipping can range. And one of the things that they say on there, and it comes in a box, right? It's just in a box, and it's not something, this would be very, very hard to damage. It's in a box inside of another box. But if you don't need extra packaging in there, you can actually save some money. You just put a little note as you're ordering it, like, hey, I don't need the extra packaging, and they'll actually discount shipping for you with that, which is really, really cool. Now, when I was going through DNS, these were $80, so they're actually cheaper now. I wanted to get the one that I would use with myself, but with anybody that was roughly my same size, and then eventually get to the bigger and bigger one so that I could have the full spectrum, the full lineup, and then utilize this with a client of any size. So, huge thumbs up from me. I always tell my clients, we're only going to improve the things that you're aware of. This is the tool that's going to give you that awareness with any area. And because I get to change these different locations, that's where I think this is super versatile. If it was only stuck in one set area, it's not as good of a tool, right? The fact that I can actually shift this around, you can add more to this, right? You could take some off. This is going to actually improve the areas that we need to improve because we're molding this to what we need. So, huge thumbs up for me. The prices come down, which is awesome. They do have an ohm track one that's way expensive. Like if you get this with the ohm track, it's $250, and then if you just get the ohm track, that's $200. It's a sensor that pairs with one of these, and so now you actually get to, via an app on your phone, visualize the pressure here, and I just can't afford it, so it's not something I'm messing with right now. So I can't give my thoughts or anything on that. I go back to the more we know, the more we can improve, but I also have to understand that I just can't afford certain things, and certain people watching this just aren't going to be willing to shell out the $250 for that. So at the $54 for just this though, I do think it is a very, very good buy. I use this, like I said, a lot, and I'm gonna be doing more videos covering how I utilize this, but you can always go to the Core 360 Instagram page, see some stuff for yourself. I also recommend Dr. Lacreo. He works with this a lot. And I'm gonna forget, if you look up dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, I'm forgetting the lady's name right now, but she is phenomenal. She is one of their top trainers, and she utilizes this a lot. And there's just a ton that you can learn just from that, with not only how to use this, but the movements that we do in those different modalities. So that is it. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.